The final match for both of these teams in the Pinatar Cup. Both still with an outside chance of taking the title. Much depends, of course, on how Iceland fare against the Philippines later on today. We will go through the team news in due course. Considerable changes from a Welsh point of view. And the Scotland lineup more akin to the team that lost to Iceland rather than the team that beat the Philippines. As we can see, the players being led out by their respective captains, Rachel Corsie of Scotland and Sophie Ingle of Wales. And significant support as well in the stands in Pinatar for both teams. It should be a cracker. First, the national anthems. Apologies if there were some sound difficulties during the Welsh anthem. Now time for the national anthem of Scotland. So the handshakes between the Welsh and Scottish players. And we will run through the team news in just a moment. Lucy Silkova of the Czech Republic, once again the head referee for a Welsh match this afternoon. She officiated the last two games against Iceland and the Philippines. Only Sam over for opening defeat to Iceland, except for Davison and Abby Harrison. As far as the Wales boss Gemma Granger is concerned, she's made 4 changes from the Iceland draw. Olivia Clark replaces Laura O'Sullivan in goal. In come Josie Green, Hannah Kane and Charlie Escort. All in for Hayley Ladd, Rhiannon Roberts and Rachel Rowe. So a mixed tournament so far for Scotland. And from a Welsh point of view, a win and a draw. Certainly not a catastrophe from Gemma Granger's point of view, Gwennon Harris. but I think she perhaps would have liked a little bit more activity in front of goal.
I think she'd be pleased with the amount of chances created against Iceland, considering, you know, the quality of the opposition, but obviously be disappointed not to have not to have taken any of those chances.
And there we see a united front from both teams in a stance against homophobia. Good to see. And the exchange of pleasantries between Corsie and Ingle, two real class acts, and the respective captains of both Wales and Scotland. What about those Wales changes then? We're not always used to talking about Wales changes when we talk about Gemma Granger's 11, but there are 4 in total this afternoon.
Yeah, it's good to see, you know, certain players being given an opportunity. When you look at the Scottish side, they've used 24 of their 25 players in the first 2 games. Obviously, Wales way off that number, so it's good to see other players having an opportunity. I think you expect to see Charlie Escott come in at right back, and then Josie Green slot into centre half. Obviously, Olivia Clark been given her opportunity, which means all 3 goalkeepers have been given a start, and then a start for Hannah Kane, who's come off the bench and been effective twice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how those changes change the activity in front of goal for Wales. Defensively, it hasn't been a problem. Haven't conceded so far in this tournament, Wales. And there we see Olivia Clark, as Gwenan says, the 3rd goalkeeper utilised by Gemma Granger in this tournament. Weather much better compared to previous games for Wales. Has been windy and cold at night time in Pinatar. But Wales up and running, defending this kick-off. And a first touch at right back for Charlie Escott. And Hannah Kane getting her first touch. Here's Fishlock. And she is winning her 139th cap. We talked about the familiarity of Wales's back 4. Well, it's all changed today, with the exception of Evans and Woodham, as we see Josie Green and Escott slot into that back 4.
Yeah, obviously I think Wales have built on really solid foundations defensively. We've mentioned so many times already in this competition about the centre-half partnership of Hayley Ladd and Gemma Evans. It's nice to see some of the other girls being given that opportunity. They've had to be very, very patient for those opportunities, for that start. And it'd be good to see how they settle into that back line.
Josie Green in particular has been in decent form for Leicester. Of course, a ex-Tottenham player, was at Watford for a good 6 years as well. It's been in and around the Wales 11. This, in fact, her 23rd cap for Wales. Here's Fishlock. A rough tackle, but cleanly won, it must be said. And there from Nicola Doherty. We saw a fair few of those tasty challenges against Iceland for Wales. Nothing wrong with that. Flicked on by Holland up towards Fishlock. Safety first from Sophie Howard, back to Lee Gibson for her first touch of the afternoon.
Yeah,
Glasgow City, sorry Gwenna.
Just trying to have a look at the Wales formation. I feel like it might be a little bit different. Hard to see with all the camera angles at the moment, but it seems like Wales are playing a 3 in midfield, a flat 3 with James, Ingle and Kerry Holland actually dropping back. And then it looks like Fishlock's playing a little bit like a false 9 there with Kaylee Green and Hannah Kane either side of it. The minute whether she drops back in to make it like a 4-3-1-2, we'll wait to see.
Yeah, no Rachel Rowe this afternoon in the starting 11. She has been playing a little bit further forward. They did play in a wide position against Iceland, but against the Philippines we saw her as the old number 10. Fishlock, who is very much Wales's number 10, putting pressure on this Scottish defence here. And here's Rachel Corsie, the captain, who someone you know quite well, Gwenan.
Yep, talented player.
Scotland on the attack here and showing their talents. It's Davidson. Ball runs out of play. Yeah, Rachel Coursey brings a wealth of experience. This her 140th Scottish cap.
Yeah, she's hugely experienced. You know, she's played out in America for a number of years. Come back now, playing well at Villa. A real leader of the pack on the pitch and off the pitch as well.
Closing down there from Erin Cuthbert, another important player for Scotland, of Chelsea. And this is her 58th cap. Olivia Clark. You do get the impression that Gemma Granger has had a good look at all her goalkeepers. I mean, Laura Sullivan has been the #1 choice for her since she took the job. Perhaps this Pinatar Cup has shown that that position could be up for grabs in a long-term way. As Kane puts pressure on the Scottish goalkeeper Gibson, and it's the first corner of the afternoon going Wales's way.
Yeah, both sides are looking to press high. You see the way that Scotland was set up from Wales's goal kick there, forcing them to go long, trying to win that first ball, that first phase. And then Wales maintaining, well, winning possession, maintaining it, and then looking to play long into that wide channel to use the pace of Hannah Kane effectively.
Pedro Martinez, the Scottish coach, watching on as Lily Woodham prepares to take this corner with her left foot. She's put in some real good in-swingers in this tournament so far, and that's not a bad delivery, although it doesn't reach another red shirt. Cleared away, back in from Josie Green, could go anywhere. In the end, it goes in the hands of Lee Gibson.
Yeah, interesting just to see the setup. I think we only seen it quickly as the ball was swung in with 3 Wales players were literally side by side at that front post. Obviously something that they've picked up from the analysis.
Great to see so many Welsh flags on show. You see there, all representative of all sorts of regions. Cardiff Met, one of those. Free kick against Caroline Weir of Real Madrid.
Oh, she's a very classy player, and someone Wales will be trying to limit the amount of space and opportunities and time she gets on the ball, because she makes the Scotland team tick.
Yeah, you don't have a CV which includes Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester City for no reason at all, and Real Madrid. Escort with a clearance away, Weir putting pressure on her, and Scotland have the throw. Scotland, former winners of the Pinatar Cup, won the first incarnation of the tournament, in fact, in 2020. We've talked in previous commentaries about these little proxy tournaments all around the world, the She Believes Cup in the United States, for example. All ideal preparation for teams going to major tournaments, but also teams who have aspirations of doing that, much like Wales and Scotland, as it goes out for a Welsh throw.
Yeah, well, it's just great preparation, isn't it? Good for teams to have a bit of time away in terms of bonding, but to get things nailed down, patterns of play, you know, and the mindset that they wish to get going on, especially, as you said, when you're building towards the beginning of a important qualifying campaign for both sides, because both of these sides narrowly missed out in the playoff final legs. Scotland against Republic of Ireland, obviously Wales against Switzerland, from reaching the World Cup this year.
Yeah, that must have been a hammer blow for Scotland. They really would have fancied their chances in that game. They've beaten Austria in the first round of the playoffs, much like Wales beating Bosnia. Gemma Evans chasing the ball down here against Harrison. Well, she's managed to get a cross in, a miracle of a cross really, from a tight angle, and in the end Hannah Kane has had to put it behind for a corner.
Yeah, she did very well to get on the end of that and just to hook her foot around it more than I think Gemma Evans was expecting the ball to go out, hence why she's maybe a little bit lacklustre and closing down. And then Josie Green just managed to get any type of touch on it, which was important.
Erin Cuthbert with the corner. Oh, and it's the only goal, and it's a fine goal as well. Sophie Howard's powerful header. She was completely unmarked, and it's Scotland who lead.
Well, it was a bullet header, but you'd question from a Welsh perspective where the marking is. They've seemed so reliable, so steady defensively. Obviously, like to see the replay again. Who Sophie Howard just seemed to peel off, but you cannot allow any player, especially a centre half, that amount of time and space in front of goal. And she finished really well. She kept the header down. It was a good delivery from Erin Cuthbert as well.
Well, it was a good delivery, but I think Gemma Granger will question why Sophie Howard had the opportunity that she did. Make no mistake, it was a decent header, but all too easy.
Yeah, it's Kerry Holland there. She just manages to wriggle away from Kerry Holland, who's questioned as well. Players are on the post. It's a really sloppy and tidy goal from a Welsh perspective to concede.
Holland concedes the throw, and that is the first goal that Wales have conceded in the Pittar Cup this year. And lots for Gemma Granger and her coaching staff to think about now. There's going to be panic, but this is a position that Wales don't often find themselves in, because they are usually so tight at the back, and they're being exploited here as Emsley takes on Escort, and it's another decent delivery into the box, on that occasion looking for Lauren Davidson, instead finding the opposite corner flag, and it's out for a goal kick. But Scotland have had a decent start here.
Yeah, you don't particularly want to be one-on-one against Emsley in those situations. Good play, Angel City play at the minute. But what Scotland are doing well, they're getting numbers, supporting well in attack, numbers into the box, which is creating problems then from Welsh perspective to defend against. I don't think Olivia Clark could have done anything about that goal.
Well, it's not the best of goal kicks, that's for certain, as Sam Kerr picks it up. Cuthbert, the option of either Davidson or Brown, uses the latter. Brown up against Kaylee Green and Woodham. Stumbles over, referee says get up, and Wales can counter-attack potentially. Ball up towards Hannah Kane, instead reaches Lee Gibson.
Yeah, the Wales players were quite deep then when they won it back. A lot of them got back into their shape defensively. So when you do win possession of the ball, then Hannah Kane's offering that option in behind to try and stretch the defence. The ball has to come at an angle to give Hannah Kane any chance of getting on the end of it. It was too straight from Angharad James.
Almost the interception from Kane. Does reach Angharad James. Fishlock trying to nod it on to Kaylee Green. I think one criticism that was labelled at the Welsh performances in the last two games, maybe an up in intensity was needed. Things at times looked a bit laboured.
I think it was better on the weekend against Iceland. I've said before about the chances they created is just about being clinical and ruthless then in the final third, and in situations like that then when I think Fishlock had time, you could see what she was trying to do by flicking it on back. She probably had time herself to take the ball down.
Escort's throw, Holland. Corsi. Welsh attackers just sitting off this Scottish defence. We talk about Wales's defensive prowess. They are usually so tight at the back, so it is unusual to see them having to come from behind in a game like this.
Yeah, they'll be really disappointed with the manner of that goal. It was well taken, mind, take nothing away from the header from Sophie Howard. She finished it really, really well, but it's just too easy. Gemma Granger will be very disappointed because, as we've said, you know, they've built a real solid defensive foundation.
Here's Weir holding off the challenge of Holland. Brown. He's got time to cross. And an easy catch for Olivia Clark.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Wales's change. This formation playing more of like a flat three across the middle.
Wales giving the ball away very cheaply in defensive areas, and luckily for Olivia Clark and the Welsh defence. It does go out for a goal kick, but this was the earlier cross from Brown. Again, a decent delivery.
Yeah, you'd hope from a Scottish perspective there that, you know, she'd look to try and pick someone out. Really, she had quite a bit of time after beating Kerry Holland. They've looked strong in the 1v1 wide areas so far. It's opening quarter of an hour, Scotland.
Referee has stopped the play. Holland down. Potential head injury. Although we would have to see the replay to see exactly what happened, but as is customary with head injuries, or potential ones, the game has to be stopped. I think it was just an awkward fall, or maybe it was the initial clash with Kerr.
Yeah, I think it was when she was coming down, Simon, the landing.
Esther Morgan, Megan Wynne, Carrie Jones. With three players that suggest that the future is bright for Wales. Perhaps would have liked to have seen Esther Morgan maybe get a few more games. Megan Wynne hasn't featured either.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about at the start. Scotland made 10 changes to their starting 11 when they played Philippines on the weekend. And they've used 24 out of their 25 players so far, so they've really made the most of it in this competition. As you see, I can't quite see it from there, but yeah, Sophie Howard coming through. Lily Woodham's on the post there as well. For me, that's your job when you're on the post. You don't venture off unless you've got someone to mark there. You go across, you go sideways. So you'd question that. There's quite a few elements of that set piece they'll be really disappointed and looking at, and hopefully sharpening up on by the time the next game comes around, which is Northern Ireland at home at the Cardiff City Stadium. Great opportunity for Wales to try and get more supporters. You can see how much of an improvement has been made in the amount of support that they've had in the last campaign. It was enormous.
Yeah, April the 6th, the date of that game. And what we saw in previous matches at the Cardiff City Stadium, lots of school children attending, real good atmosphere, watching their heroes. And we hope for the same against Northern Ireland as well, as Kerry Holland comes back on here. Here's Brown. Wales haven't tested Scotland yet. It's been, in terms of chances, one-way traffic at the moment. Hopefully Jess Fishlock can have something to say about that. Good interception by Howard, the goal scorer. Lee Gibson, definitely the quieter of the two goalkeepers at the moment. Doherty. Charlie Escort in towards Ingle, risky pass, and it's forced the error in towards Weir. Could be dangerous, this. Davidson. Well, luckily for Wales, it was quite a tight angle there, but the cross does come in towards Weir. And Wales again.
I'll be honest, Simon, I think Wales look a little bit leggy. I think some of these players started 3 games in a week. Whereas you can see the Scottish players are a bit more fresh. Majority of them, I think it's only Sam Kerr in the midfield that started all 3. They just seem a little bit off the pace and slow to react.
Cuthbert looking for the pass to Emsley, but could only find the sidelines. It all came from a sloppy pass, that Scottish chance. Well, sort of to blame for their own mistakes, really. Weir with a throw. Actually leaves it for Doherty. Yeah, Iceland against the Philippines is the evening game. Iceland very much favourites to lift the Pinatar Cup. But who knows? I mean, the Philippines were very, very defensively organised when we saw them against Wales, Gwenan. So who knows how they will fare against the Icelandic players. Josie Green chasing the ball back. Under pressure from Harrison. Fouled, wins the free kick.
Instructions as well there. Josie Green just got a body between the player in the ball. Going back to your point there, Simon, yeah, it will be interesting actually to see how both teams set up in that Iceland-Philippines game, because both of them like to sit back and just try and hit on the counter-attack.
Well, Wales again messing around in defence, and it proved costly again, almost. Here's Weir, lovely little pass. The exchange of passes with Harrison didn't work out, but Weir has it again. Here's Cuthbert inside that penalty area. They're all queuing up for it. Chance for Davidson, and it's spinning into the hands of Olivia Clark. And another chance for Scotland in this 18 minutes that we've played so far.
Yeah, well, Wales are adamant that they want to play out from the back. You can see that. And in order to develop that, you have to have a bit of patience, completely understand. But also, at times, you have to just be aware. And game management, for me, you've gone a goal behind, you've made a couple of mistakes in that situation, people are a bit nervy. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with playing the ball long, turning the other team around and just giving yourself a little breather, everybody get a little bit higher up the pitch.
Chelsea Green under pressure again. Olivia Clark's come out. There's a bit of miscommunication between defender and goalkeeper, and luckily Charlie Escort was there to clear it away. But Wales defensively making an awful lot of mistakes at the moment, and they've even given away a free kick here. Well, Olivia Clark came out, and I suppose what you want to see from goalkeepers is, once the keeper comes out, take everything out in front of you, defender and ball, if need be.
Obviously you can't hear it all over there, but probably just a real lack of communication. You know, credit to Josie Green, who's stepping in. She's not a naturally well, she's normally a central midfielder, not a centre half. I know you could say the same of Hayley Ladd, but she's played, and she's a master. I don't know how many caps playing the centre half for Wales. So
Cuthbert with the cross, and the glancing header from Abby Harrison goes wide. Harrison of Bristol City. Well, it's been a concerning 20 minutes for Wales. Most of the activity, it has to be said, is in the Welsh penalty area. James. Again, it was a laboured pass forward, which has put pressure on Kerry Holland this time, although that's a nice idea out to Kaylee Green, but Scotland have it again and are on the attack again. Davidson, tackled by Woodham.
Well, everything's very easy for Scotland at the minute. You know, Wales are playing poorly out from the back. The passing accuracy has been very poor. And then if they do manage to just break through that line, the quality into the final third, it isn't good enough. Weir's
cross is a beautiful one. Comes out to Cuthbert, controls it. I think it came off her own player. Danger not away for Wales. Davidson out towards Harrison. Desperate stuff for the Welsh defence. And Scotland are after a second and are getting closer.
Yeah, and they're just first to react as well. Look, picking up the second ball on this occasion, picking up the next second ball as well. As I said, I think Wales do look quite leggy, they look a little bit tired.
Cuthbert, Escort, sorry, with the throw. Flicked on by Holland. And just respite for Wales. Managing to get into the Scottish half for a change here, and just a pot shot or a half chance would give them a bit of confidence here. Here's Kane, nice work. Ball in towards Fishlock. Scotland have let it bounce, and that's good play from Howard, just chesting it back to Lee Gibson.
Yeah, you could cheer it from a mile off, couldn't you? They're just calling, just commanding their area. But good to see Hannah Kane in a one-on-one situation. That's what you want to do. You want to be able to get better players, more attacking, exciting players. The ball in those 1v1s, can't she create anything? She's got half a yard, got a shot across.
Hannah Kane just checking to see if Nicola Doherty's okay. Took her out. I don't think it was on purpose. Certainly a ball that she had the right to compete for. And I think Doherty will be okay. Nicola Doherty of Rangers, her second spell at the Glasgow club. Give a spell at Glasgow City as well. Always enjoy playing against Scotland, Gwenan?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, some very good games, some good battles, always close games, always physical. Didn't realise that my last ever game would actually come against Scotland at the age of 24, but that's the way things go. Things happen for a reason.
And it's a cross in towards that penalty area. Evans stuck out a leg and a flag went up. So the decision goes Wales's way. It was an offside flag, I think. But Gemma Evans was alert to it anyway. Yeah, I think she was about a yard off there, Abby Harrison.
You know, with Wales changing their formation, trying to be a little bit more central with those midfield players, I actually feel like we're really vulnerable out wide now. We've seen both full-backs in those 1v1 situations, and that's going to happen at times, but where possible, you always want them when your forward players who have stayed quite high now, you want them coming back to try and help out. And I think it's over one hand the amount of crosses that the Scottish players have been able to get in from those wide areas already.
James went in for the tackle, but it was Emsley who got the better of it. Eventually away by Evans. Scotland look much more adept on the ball at the moment. Vast improvement needed from Wales here. Holland losing out again. Well, in the end does find Woodham. Better as Woodham gets forward. Free kick. Talked about Lily Woodham over the course of this tournament. You would like to think that maybe she's made that left-back position her own. Has put in some accomplished displays, natural left footer as well, of course.
Yeah, I think she's got a good case in. You know, I've mentioned before on commentary in terms of the balance she brings, and she's good to see. She's still very young, so you know, lots to improve on, but I think she brings a lot to the side, and good energy as well. Joins in attacks well when she can.
Holland, good tackle from Doherty. Brilliant tackle, in fact. Took the ball and the player. Corsi. Howard. Caroline Weir in a very deep position and has pinged the most accurate pass you'll see in this tournament to Emsley. Superb long ball. And Doherty's got time here. And in the end, it results in a Welsh goal kick. I think Doherty had more time than perhaps she thought, but Davison header was slightly off target. But what an initial pass that was from Weir.
Yeah, but everything is far too easy for the Scottish at the minute. You cannot afford a player like Caroline Weir any time on the ball because she can turn on a sixpence. She's such a good player. If you're going to afford her that amount of time and space, and she's going to pick out a player, and then Doherty coming forward, you know, there's nobody there, no one within 10 yards of it to try and stop the cross.
No one within 10 yards of Fishlock here. What a chance this is for Wales. Fishlock trying to find Kane. And much like we've seen in previous games in this tournament, Fishlock looking for that final pass in areas where sometimes we've seen her go it alone.
Yeah, you could see again the idea. Hannah Kane had made the movement from out to in. I was trying to get across the full back, but I think it was just a little bit too tight in there to be able to. But saying that, Fishlock didn't really have any other options on either.
Weir released. The pass from Brown was wayward and out for a Welsh throw. Woodham, who was very highly thought of at Reading. And I mentioned her age. I mean, she is 22 years of age now, so improving with every game that she plays. Evans beaten to it on the touchline, and Weir couldn't get on the end of that. It was a dangerous cross, but down the other end, Hannah Kane battling with Doherty. But in an isolated way, Scotland happy just to play it back to Gibson. All their experience at the back on show.
I'd love to see the stats for this game in terms of like 1v1 battles and dominating the battles, because I think Wales have lost out nearly everyone.
Fishlock, that's a nice pass to Green. Great vision from Fishlock. It was slightly too close to Lee Gibson, but my word, that is what Jess Fishlock can bring to this Welsh team. Great vision, and almost on a plate for Katie Green.
Yeah, superb vision. You know, that's why you want her in those central areas and in those positions, just dropping off the centre halves, being able to get on the half turn and looking forward.
Gibson. Harrison beaten to the header by Josie Green.
Close to a good understanding between the two as well. Good piece of pass from Fishlock this time.
Holland gives it away. Here's Weir. Beats James. Zips the ball over to Davidson. Woodham there first, but couldn't complete the clearance. Does win the throw and a push in the back, and that goes unpunished, but maybe it would have been better for Woodham just to find the stand initially rather than lose the ball. But they do like to play out the back, this Welsh team.
That was frustration, that was, Simon, because she thought she'd knocked it past, but it was good defending that 1v1 channel there by Davidson.
James. Ball forward from Evans was pretty aimless, and it's fallen to Weir, which is not good news for Wales. Cuthbert, another classy player, out towards Emsley. Weir almost on the turn. Green with it away, back to Cuthbert. Wales really struggling to clear their lines. Davidson. Cuthbert! Well, was it a cross, was it a shot? It is a goal kick, but no doubt the quality of Scotland's forward play there.
There's good movement by the Scottish players as well. Always looking to get in between the lines. So I think there was about 3 passes in that movement where I think it was Weir, Cuthbert got in those positions where they're not pinned up against the centre half, they're just dropping a little bit short. It's hard for the Welsh defence to pick up, but somebody has to, because when you look at the numerical advantage that Wales had there, there's no way that the Scottish players should be having that amount of time or space to be able to get in those positions to receive the ball.
Olivia Clark receiving medical attention here. The 21-year-old Bristol City player winning her 6th cap this afternoon.
Well, Laura O'Sullivan went down about a similar type of time, didn't she? In the first half of the last game, so I wonder whether it's something tactical.
Well, it does give Wales the time to regroup here. Much needed time, because if we're to be brutally honest, 32 minutes, it's been all Scotland in terms of chances. They've had the better of possession. And there we see Laura O'Sullivan and Rhiannon Roberts. 2 of the mainstays of Gemma Granger's team, or has been, in the last campaign.
Interesting that Scotland are actually going through a legal battle at the minute. They feel that there's a disparity in the contractual agreement that they've got between the players and the SFA, and not just about pay, obviously that is one part of it, but just the all-round essence in terms of the treatment off the pitch facilities, accommodation, travel, etc. Surprising for me, considering that in recent years they've reached 2 major tournaments, Euros 2017, the World Cup 2019, and actually I think that just goes to emphasise as well the importance and praise that the FAW should have for the backing that they've given the Welsh players. There are no stones unturned now. They're treated in the same way. You think of the media coverage, their accommodation, their travel, and obviously now with the new agreement in place with the equal pay.
Yeah, and it's been a move welcomed by the Welsh players themselves. Sophie Ingle talked about that in the build-up to the game against the Philippines. It's been a long time coming, but certainly a positive step for the women's game. Fishlock just couldn't get round Sophie Howard there. And it's Hannah Kane down this time.
Yeah, it just surprises me, Simon, going back to that point in terms of, as I said, with Scotland actually and their recent successes. From the outside, looking in, you just assumed that they were given the support that they rightly deserve, but obviously not the case. So that battle is ongoing with senior players, Rachel Corsie, Caroline Weir, Erin Cuthbert, really trying to lead the way to make sure that there's a positive change.
A bit of a concussion test going on here for Hannah Kane. I think she'll be okay. And she certainly had game time in this Pinatar Cup, which I think is definitely a positive thing for the Leicester forward. This her 4th cap. As we mentioned in previous commentaries, that she made her debut off the bench against Estonia in 2019, had that awful ACL injury, has had to battle back from that. But it's been good to see her in a Welsh shirt, involved in all the games so far.
Yeah, first start this evening, so pleasing to see her coming back and just building those minutes up. She's been playing well since she's got back into the fold with Leicester, scored not long ago as well.
Here's Green, Kaylee Green. Kerry Holland waiting in the middle, just behind her, and it's that final bit, that final third, that has let Wales down.
There's actually no need for that pass then. She had time, and you could see other Welsh players trying to get up in support because they were so isolated at the time.
Driven forward by Evans.
Just look how high the Scottish players are in comparison with Wales in this situation.
Evans looking for options here, only has Anhara James. And Scotland pegging Wales back here. High press.
Well, it's been a hallmark of the first half, isn't it? And they've capitalised in terms of winning the ball back in a really high area of the pitch on a number of occasions due to Wales's lack of quality in those areas so far in the game.
And there we see some Welsh shirts on show. Plenty of Welsh flags as well. Better weather for those spectators. Not wrapped up warm, as has been the case in the evening games. Cross into the middle towards Emsley. Didn't have the contact in the end. And that will go down as a real chance. What can Wales conjure up here? Fishlock. Pull past to Green. And the attack, or the chance of an attack, goes begging. Again, Davidson on that right, Gwenan.
Yeah, as I said, everything's just far too easy for the Scottish players. Wales are like half a yard off them at all times. Need to get tighter, need to get in their faces, be more physical, be more aggressive.
Holland gets a second chance at it here. Spots Escort. Well, the first touch let her down, but it is a Welsh throw. Escort. Fishlock, lovely turn. Wins the corner. Well, in tight spaces, Jess can really find room out of nothing, out of nowhere. And that was a good burst of pace from the OL Reign player. And a rare corner for Wales. They've got to make the most of this, Gwenan. It's Lily Woodham again. Low corner this time, it goes across the face of the Scottish defence. And the clearance eventually from Cuthbert. Not quite the elevation on Woodham's cross, but it did cause a few issues.
Yeah, I think she would have liked to have got a bit more airtime on that one, but that's the difference with having an in-swinger. Now Lily Woodham is in the team. Wales have got two naturally left-footed players. Well, you're never going to use Gemma Evans, even though she's probably one of the best from deliveries, because you want her height advantage in the area. So Lily Woodham now takes the pressure off Angharad James and offers that in-swinging option.
Doherty. Winning her 40th cap today. Takes the throw. Flicked on towards Weir, away by James. Wales just struggling to keep hold of it here. Here's Weir again. Emsley. Weir. Important touch, vital touch from Sophie Ingle.
Yeah, she read that well. They're very good friends, Caroline Weir, Sophie Ingle. And we're teammates together with Great Britain in the Olympics last year as well. Ingle just covering across well.
Both very accomplished players. Vital for their nations, as is Cuthbert, who'll take this corner kick, drives it in, and luckily for Wales this time, Angharad James was there, but it was not too dissimilar to what led to the goal from Sophie Howard. That sort of delivery. Here's Cuthbert again. Outswinging cross this time. It's looping over. Not a bad attempt by Corsie.
They've won a number of those aerial battles, though, haven't they? Getting in front of the marker, so this time Corsie getting in front of Gemma Evans. Just couldn't direct the header down.
Weir towards Davison. Another cross into the hands of Clark. Nice pass to Kane. Good work out for Wales this. Fishlock with the step over, and that is a lovely through ball. And this is Kerry Holland to put Wales level. And it is 1-1. Made by the quality of Jess Fishlock and finished by Kerry Holland.
So much better from a Welsh perspective, because they didn't look to try and play out from the back where there's so many Scottish players pressed higher. They went over those players into Hannah Kane. A superb first touch from Hannah Kane, and then, as you said, the vision from Fishlock, but the composure as well from Fishlock with the weight to pass, and then Kerry Holland, good first touch, open up her body and composed finish.
Her fourth goal for Wales, Kerry Holland, and a very calm finish in a one-on-one situation.
Yeah, give credit there to Olivia Clark for getting her head up, looking, and then the quality of the ball into her, and then, as we said, she's actually stretching for it in the end, but a good weighted pass through, uses her body well there, Fishlock.
Well, it's a superb pass from Fishlock, and take nothing away from the finish.
It's that first touch, Simon, actually, to bring it back across, because if she takes that ball too straight on, she's narrowing the angle, she's on her weaker foot. She actually takes it across. I know it's going into players, but opens the angle up for herself then on her more favoured right foot.
Well, it's probably been against the run of play, but Wales won't care, and I'm sure that will boost Gemma Granger's team. Now that they are back on level terms, it's Holland again. And it's got some of the crowd going as well.
Yeah, Omar Heed's going.
Well, Scotland calmly with the ball away from Sophie Howard. But, you know, we had seen Fishlock tease those sorts of opportunities before, looking for that through ball. There was one to Hannah Kane, one to Kaylee Green. But the one to Kerry Holland was on a plate.
You know, with her playing in that central role, but not quite up top, even though Wales look like they've changed shape now. Look like they've gone back to the more traditional shape. Yeah, with 4-2, 3-1. With Fishlock playing up against, not quite, sorry, playing up against the centre halves, it causes a problem for the Scottish defence. Who goes? And then do they narrow up behind when she does get the ball? Obviously, they didn't quite do that on that occasion, and Kerry Holland timed her runs to perfection.
Davidson has got Weir in support. Goes it alone. Couldn't get round Woodham. And the referee has stopped the play here. There's an injury to Abby Harrison of Bristol City. Does look in some discomfort, in fairness. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Well, the physio showing concern as well. This was the incident. It was a clash of heads.
Yeah, it's always a concerning one, isn't it, in terms of the heads, and the protocol now with concussion has got better, which is rightly so.
Josie Green came in with a header. Well, you never like to see this. And hopefully it's nothing too serious. Well, the matter certainly being discussed on the sidelines, as I'm sure you can hear from some of the mics picking up the conversation. The hushed tones around the Pitata Arena at the moment, just to check that Abby Harrison is okay.
She's done well as well. She's occupied both centre halves. She's gone between them on a lot of occasions, won a lot of balls in the air, first balls, but you know, has brought that option in behind as well, using her pace.
Still in that crouched position and still in some discomfort. I don't think they particularly want to risk any further injury. I mean, any doubt, then bring her off, I would suggest, but does look a bit dazed, doesn't she, Abby Harrison? Well, there's a smile, which is encouraging. But it has resulted in a bit of stoppage. 4 minutes being added on. There may be more because of this injury. So it was an ideal time to get Gwennon Harris's assessment of this first half. Difficult, isn't it? Delighted, I'm sure, that you are that Wales are back on level terms, but it did come against the run of play.
Yeah, it's not been a great half of football from a Welsh perspective at all. However, look at the positives. They've managed to ride it out and managed to take their one proper opportunity that they have created.
Doherty seen a lot of the ball on the Scottish left in this half. Harrison, who's back on her feet and marching down that left-hand side. Penalised. It's a free kick to Wales. I think that goal will have disappointed Scotland as well. Defensively, they would have been so pleased with their performance up to then, but
they haven't had much to do, to be honest, Simon.
Just one pass that Wales cut through them.
Yeah, it's more the defensive shape from the attack. So how they've set up high, they've pressed high. And I think they'll be disappointed, because I think they'll be a little bit surprised with maybe how easy it's been in certain aspects of winning the ball back higher up, and then maybe the time that they've had at certain points in and around the area. So they will be disappointed, certainly, to have conceded from the one main chance that Wales have created. But from a Welsh perspective, as I said, you know, that's important when you're maybe not playing well, but you're grinding out and taking opportunities.
Early free kick from James to Kane. Doherty sliding on her knees and got away with that. She missed the ball initially. Kane forcing the throw.
Wales have definitely changed back shape now, because Kayleigh Green has gone up top central. Whereas we saw before, we saw the three flat in midfield with Ingle, James and Holland. And then Fishlock was playing like a false nine with Hannah Kane and Kayleigh Green out wide. Well, it's not something that Wales have used often. You know, I can't really recall Wales changing shape under Gemma Granger.
Fishlock is in space here. Ingle. Well, a collision between the two players here, and there is some concern. And the Scottish players calling for the medical staff to come on quickly here. Fishlock is down too. And I have to say, you look at the reaction of the other players first and foremost in occasions like that, and there was some concern immediately there.
Yeah, there was. I think the only positive thing was that the Scottish player, I can't quite see who it is at the moment, Fiona Brown, moved her legs quite quickly, so she obviously was knocked out. But again, another heavy collision. There's been quite a few of these.
Well, both players have stayed pretty motionless on the floor at the moment. This was the collision. And you can see, well, Fiona Brown was out immediately. I think there is some signs of movement there, thankfully.
Yeah, she backs out of the challenge, you could see that. So Fishlock takes it past it, or just flicks it past her. Then obviously her momentum has carried her into Fiona Brown, but at an angle, at a height that's, well, injured both of them.
Well, the referee has called for half-time, which is unusual, while medical attention is being administered. Now, it is definitely half-time, but that only tells half the story. We hope to bring you some news about the two players in question, Fishlock and Brown, and hopefully it's nothing too serious at this stage. It is half-time, it is all square, and it's Scotland 1, Wales 1, but we will bring you that injury news as soon as we have something to tell. But quite concerning pictures, Gwenan, right at the end of this first half.
Yeah, I'm glad to see. So you can see Fiona Brown backs out, but it's just the height that both of them, because Fishlock's gone up and then has landed awkwardly. And she was face down for a long while, so glad to see that she's on her back now. However, not a good sight to see a neck brace coming out.
So news of that to come, and second half commentary, but at half time it is Scotland 1, Wales 1.
ľavou rukou už vôbec, ešte aj krivo. Normálne ma sere. Koľko bolo ošetrené? Koľko bolo ošetrené?
Ale Bože, no.
Dobre, dobre. Najpodstatnejšie. Keby si ukázala, koľko sa bude nastavovať? V čase, keď bolo čo? A? A teda, ako vieš, koľko sa bude? Na tú Ivanu som zvedavý, jak sa zatvári, keď ma spadá. Ale povedz jej to, dobre? Tiene que venir con la sirena colocada. Ah, pregunta, yo te llamo.
And welcome back for second half coverage of this Wales-Scotland game in the Pinatar Cup. It's 1-1, but the concerning story is what happened during half-time, and I'm sorry to say that Fiona Brown, the Scotland defender, received medical attention throughout that half-time period and was in fact stretchered off with a neck brace on. From the pictures that we could see, Gwenan, she was talking and was responsive to what the medical team were saying to her, but still very concerning to see a player stretchered off.
Yeah, it's not often that you see players stretchered off. I'm hoping that it's more of a precaution than anything, because as you said, you could see her communicating clearly, but it wasn't a good sight, so I think everybody wishes her well.
As for Jess Fishlock, she did leave the field unassisted. And is back onto the pitch. So that's good news from a Welsh point of view. It was a collision between Fishlock and Brown. I think Jess's knee might have collided with the face of Fiona Brown. It's difficult to see on the replay.
But it definitely caught the upper part of her body, which knocked her backwards. And then, yeah, we believe that knee caught her chin. It wasn't a great incident. There's been quite a lot of them. It's been more likened to a bit of a rugby match at times with some of these challenges.
Yeah, we expected physicality, but certainly we wish Fiona Brown well, and that has prompted a change, or will prompt a change from Scotland's point of view. We'll wait to get confirmation of that change in just a moment. But it is 1-1. Wales pulling level after a fine finish from Kerry Holland off a Jess Fishlock pass. Sophie Howard gave Scotland the lead earlier in the game. And we will be back underway very, very shortly here. I don't think there are any changes from Wales.
No changes from Wales' perspective. I'm trying to see, can't see from the pictures so far who's filling.
And it's Kirsty Smith who is on. So Kirsty Smith on for Fiona Brown. That is the change as Cuthbert picks up the ball, battles with Rowe, does well Cuthbert. And Scotland will look to start this second half as they did the first. On the front foot. Good tracking back from Rachel Rowe.
So there has been a Welsh change, because Rachel Rowe is now on the pitch. I think it's Hannah Kane.
It's a good job you're noticing these things. I'm just the commentator. I should have noticed that. Rachel Rowe is on. And in a wide position here.
Oh, it's either Kerry Holland or Hannah Kane, but I'm pretty sure it's Hannah Kane. Nope, there we go. I'm not noticing either.
Yeah, I think it is Kerry Holland. Just to explain to our viewers, we don't get the substitute pictures or the sideline pictures from our coverage of the Pinatar Cup, so I can tell you that it is Kerry Holland who has got off. And it is Rachel Rowe is on. Olivia Clark still on the pitch. A rare appearance for her in goal. And a short pass to Josie Green. I'm surprised then that Kerry Holland is off, scoring that goal as she did.
Yeah, she's such a hard worker.
It's opened up for Wales here. Kane has made the run. Well read by Gibson.
To be fair to Kerry Holland, she started all 3 games, so I think just a little bit of fatigue set in. As I said in the first half, I think the Welsh players, especially in that opening half an hour, looked heavy-legged, tired, so it's a good change. Good to have options off the bench for Wales.
Emsley has played it out wide to Caroline Weir. First time cross. Oh, it's a lovely flick, and it was inches away from Harrison. Almost 2-1 to Scotland. Well, great improvisation from the Scottish forward from Weir's cross.
Yeah, it's a great ball, put in an area of the pitch where forwards are going to run to. So Harrison makes that good centre forward run across the front post, and as you said, good improvisation to try and get something on it, and very nearly sort in the far corner.
Fishlock. James, ball over the top, bit too heavy, reaches Gibson. Fishlock putting pressure on Sam Kerr. It's paid off. Williams' pass does find Rowe. Oh, James misses out to Cuthbert and commits the foul in trying to win the ball back.
Well, it was a really hard ball into it. It was like chest height from about 5 yards away from her. So obviously that first touch was a bit heavy, but Cuthbert really sharp, winning possession back, and then had James just a little pull of the shirt. She knows exactly what she's doing there.
Well, Rachel Rowe back on her feet, hobbling somewhat. And remember, if we do get any news on the condition of Fiona Brown, we will let you know immediately. Smith to Howard, the goal scorer, challenged by Rowe. Smith has found Cuthbert. James reading it well. Scotland happy to let it out for a corner. And the deliveries have been decent from Scotland, or certainly were in the first half.
Yeah, they've been good, but the movement has been good as well. Wales need to be better in their marking, because Scotland have had at least 4 attempts from free kicks and corners so far.
And it's the left foot of Caroline Weir that will try and test the Welsh defence here. Weir with an in-swinger, away by Fishlock. Kane with the tackle this time on Weir. Smith hasn't got too many options here. Opts for Weir in the end. It's Wales' turn to press a little bit harder, as we saw from the Scots in the first half. Really pushed Wales back somewhat. Weir. Davidson. Trying to find Smith, but could only find Rowe. And it is a goal kick.
Yeah, not a bad option to bring on Kirsty Smith. So, Man United, former Man United player playing with West Ham in the WSL.
He spent 4 years at United. Started her career at Hibs. James. Room for Rowe. And he's opened up a little bit for Wales. I think Rowe just lost her footing there. And it's Weir with a ball over the top for Harrison to chase. Harrison spotted Clark off her line, and you could see by her body position what she was thinking of doing, but was offside anyway.
Marginal. If VAR was there and those lines were on, I'm not so sure, because it was the back foot of Gemma Emmons. But any good centre forward will do that. They get themselves in between the two centre halves, make it difficult. And she looks in behind, but she can hold the ball up well as well. She's played well this afternoon.
Ingle in a deep position here. Evans, 51st cap for her. Here's Josie Green. Well, Rowe was the target. It does eventually get to Rowe, courtesy of Ann-Harriet James. Rachel Rowe, past Smith. Nice cross, in goal! So close to 2-1.
I thought that was just going to end up in that far corner then when it fell to Ingles. Adept with either foot. But it's coming. Scotland are wanting, they're committing a lot of bodies forward, pressing high. But when Wales can get through that, play through it quickly, then they look in better situations, because they've got players then in 1v1 areas like we've seen with Rachel Rowe, and she just skipped past Kirsty Smith, and she actually did well to change the angle on the cross as well.
But things have looked brighter for Wales in this second half. But Scotland forward now with Weir. Emsley
Back post, Lauren, now.
gets past Escort. Kerr. Through ball to Harrison. Patient stuff, this from Scotland. Harrison skips round Green. Doherty, cross it towards Cuthbert. Header away from James. Fishlock on its way to Kaylee Green.
Yeah, it's got to stay. It's got to stick then when it goes into Kaylee Green. She's played for so many years now. She knows that in that situation she has to keep hold of the ball.
Weir with a shot, spilt by Clark and out for a corner. The shot was certainly on target, and it may have dipped in front of Olivia Clark as she tried to catch it.
Well, that's the type of areas you do not want to see, from a Welsh perspective, you do not want to see Caroline Weir picking up the ball, getting on the half turn and having the time then and the space to be able to unleash, because that left foot is probably one of the best in world football. She has so much time in front of her. Good strike with her laces.
Weir's corner is an in-swinger. Away by Fishlock. Woodham runs the ball into Doherty instead. Well, there were a few shouts. I can only assume they were Scottish shouts against Lily Woodham. I don't think it was a handball inside that penalty area.
No, it's hard to see from those angles.
Would have been harsh, wouldn't it? Corsie, back to Gibson. I wonder what Gemma Granger would have said to her players at half-time. I think there was the desperate need for improvement. We've seen a little bit more urgency going forward.
Well, as I said, there's definitely been a change in shape. Well, since Wales scored, really. I think Wales have looked a little more settled since then.
We're on the charge again. Got Davison in support, but there's a poor pass into a teammate. And Wales had 3 defenders to deal with it then, among them Lily Woodham. There's another look at that incident. No. Well, I think the hand has to be in a unnatural position.
Yeah, I think it comes off the top of her arm as well, which is right by her side.
Ball back to Gibson of Glasgow City. Bit of a spell in Sweden, but he's now back in Glasgow. Second spell at Glasgow City. Corsie, the captain. Ball picked up by Josie Green. James. Green in trouble here. Cuthbert was on her immediately. It is with Woodham.
When Wales can play quickly like that around the corner and they're playing accurately, they move the ball quite well. Just unfortunately, they just nothing seemed to really click. Apart from Nicole, obviously. So far in this game, where they're on the second, third pass, they lose possession with a heavy touch or a poor pass.
Collision there between Harrison and Evans. Smith with the throw. Right by that Scottish bench, which is where Pedro Martinez is standing, former Arsenal and Bordeaux manager. He was appointed in July 2021. Ingle, nice ball, and Fishlock is free. Acres of room for Jess Fishlock, who picks out Kaylee Green, who couldn't pick out Ingle. What a shame. There were gaps for Wales to exploit there.
Yeah, just that quality again as an assignment. You know, Fishlock did well to pick out Kaylee Green. She'd held her run. And they just needed to lay it off into the path of Ingle, who'd made a good supporting run, late run from midfield.
Good tackle from Ingle. Here is Kaylee Green, deep position, switching the player, attempted to Fishlock. Wales have it through Escort. Certainly more goal-mouth activity in the Scottish penalty area in this half than we saw mainly in the first. It was Kerry Holland's chance, and that was roughly about it. Which, of course, Kerry Holland converted. Goes out for a Scottish throw, and a few Scottish flags on show, as well as Welsh support in Pinatar this afternoon. I think Gemma Granger, whatever happens, I mean, if Wales can come through 3 games without losing, there's certainly a positive to that, but I think you can take a lot from these tournaments. And Charlie Escott making way. And the familiar face of Rhiannon Roberts. In fact, it's 2 changes. We're going to see Megan Wynne as well. And Kaylee Green making way. Quiet afternoon for Kaylee. Scored in that game against the Philippines, put away the penalty kick. He's found goals hard to come by in the last 2 matches. And it's Megan Wynne on in her place, Gwenan.
Yeah, we see a like-for-like change with Escott and Roberts. Be interesting to see now where Meg Wynne goes. Well, yeah, she's gone up top. I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw her on the wing, and then Hannah Kane maybe playing as a 9.
Megan Wynne, who is winning her 22nd cap, has scored once for Wales. Howard. Back to Gibson. Well, something we may have missed there. Kaylee Green was actually booked, and I don't know whether that was because she was taking her time coming off the field. Well, she was jogging off, in fairness, but...
I think there's been quite a few challenges that have been deserving of some bookings in this game. I don't think there has been any, so for that to be the first booking is a little bit ridiculous.
We can only assume it was for that, but there we go. I thought I was looking at Kaylee Green's facial expressions coming off. I thought she's either really disappointed to coming off, which I'm sure she is, or something's happened here. And indeed,
both,
she was booked. Yeah, a bit of both, I think. Flicked on towards Kane. Offside flag. Bit of a lull in the game at the moment.
Yeah, I think Wales would be happier performance in the second half. The amount of times Scotland entered the Welsh box in that opening 20 minutes was something that which we haven't come to see or expect from a Wales side defensively.
Kane putting pressure on Doherty. Ingle picks it up for Wales. Beautiful pass. In comes the cross. Well, it is a corner kick. And the vision again on show, this time from Sophie Ingle, showing her quality.
Yeah, she did well there because everyone was coming to her. There was nobody really posing in behind. So just that peripheral vision. And we know how good she is with either foot, just to flick it around the corner with the outside of her right foot.
Lily Woodham's left foot with this corner kick. Expect another in-swinger. And it's towards that near post, and it was a Scottish head. Evans desperately trying to get it back for Wales. But they do have the throw. There was enough whip, but perhaps not enough elevation.
I'm not sure what she's called it back for here.
Well, unless it's a Scottish throw instead of a Welsh one. Anyway, there will be a Scottish change, I can tell you that much. Martha Thomas coming on for Abby Harrison. Martha Thomas of Manchester United. Ex-Le Havre and West Ham player.
Yeah, again, not a bad option at all to have on the bench, Simon.
And Ensley coming off as well. So a double change. And it's Kirsty Hansen
Yeah, that's two very decent options to have coming off the bench. So Hansen on loan with Villa from Man United, and then Thomas, you know, regularly coming off the bench of Man United, scoring, contributing as well.
And that's put a spring in the Scottish step here as Hansen picked up the ball. It's eventually with Kerr, clumsy tackle by Kane, and a free kick to Scotland.
She goes about her work really well, Sam Kerr. Obviously, you know, when you've got the likes of Cuthbert and Weir around you, they get the plaudits, but she's the one that does the majority of the dirty work, a bit like Angharad James really in the Welsh midfield, just breaking down attacks and then giving it to those more attacking minded players.
Yeah, the Angharad James / Joe Allen role.
Yeah.
Certainly appreciated by Welsh fans, I can tell you that. Now this is interesting, Doherty and Weir standing over the ball. And it's Weir's left foot that puts in the delivery. It was far too close to Olivia Clark in the end.
So you can see Megan Wynn's actually gone out onto the right wing. So Hannah Kane playing down the middle. Quite pleased to see that, just for Wales to have a different option in that 9. Obviously we all know what Hayley Green can give to the Welsh team, but Hannah Kane just a little bit more dynamic maybe.
I can tell you that Brogan Hay has come on as well for Scotland, so that's slipped by our cameras. We get confirmation of who she has replaced, but
I think it's Davidson, if I'm correct. She's gone on the right wing anyway. See her just pictures here.
Brogan Hay of Rangers. So all change for Scotland. Of course, whoever wins this game will still be in contention for lifting the Pinatar Cup. Much will depend on how Iceland do against Philippines. Iceland have, in terms of goal difference at the moment, you would suggest would be favourites. That is, if they can score a few past the Philippines, who are defensively very good against both Scotland and Wales. Rachel Rowe to Woodham. Here's Evans. Well, look for the runner. Couldn't find Kane or Rowe. Fishlock was there too.
Well, you got all 3 Welsh players coming to feet, Simon, and you know, one of the things I would say in terms of credit to the Scottish attack is that there's been contrasting movement. So if one's coming short, somebody's playing off that and going long. Wales need to have a bit more variety in their movements at times.
Well, the attack is on. We're waiting in the middle. Here she is, exchanging passes with Hansen, and it results in a Scottish corner kick. Well, Kirsty Hansen showing an immediate impact off the bench for Scotland. Well, the marking has to be a little bit tighter, given what happened in the first half. It's a short corner. Comes from Smith, over the head of Martha Thomas. And away by Kane. The break is on. Megan Wynn. Crunching tackle by Cuthbert. Doherty. Hansen. With a cross, looking for Martha Thomas. Rhiannon Roberts sticking with her, but Hansen still going. Tremendous work from Hansen, and has to be cleared by Wales. And it's eventually away by Rhiannon Roberts.
Yeah, it was good work by Josie Green, actually, positioning for the first cross. And she rushes out, but she just does enough to affect the second cross as well. To be fair to saying, you know, a central midfielder who's playing in an unfamiliar role, centre half. She's grown into the game, I think.
It was an important touch, wasn't it? But Scotland having a decent spell going forward here, although that throw-in didn't work out. And here's Rachel Rowe. Good run. She's beaten 3 players. needs support, finds it in Kane. It's a tight angle, it is a corner. What a breakaway move which was made by Rachel Rowe. Maybe Kane's first touch let her down, but it was a decent attack.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a heavy touch, a good play from Rachel. We know that she's got quality when she's taking on players. She gets her head up, she's searching for options. Hannah Kane's just peeled round to the back shoulder, but she just, yeah, that first touch, she couldn't quite take it like we saw with Kerry Holland, trying to take it across your body for her goal. She seemed to spin away, but still more than comfortable enough to try and have a pop with the left foot in the corner.
Rachel Rowe with the corner this time. Fishlock is there also. I think Rowe is going to put this in the box. Most players camped on the penalty spot here. In it comes from Rowe, in swinger, headed away by Corsie. It's another corner.
If you look at the difference there, with Wales had 2 players out for that corner. Scotland prepared players out, had 2 players there marking. When a minute ago Scotland had the corner and they had 2 players, Wales didn't have anyone even outside of the box to defend against it, and it went short. But what you do then from an attacking perspective for Wales is get 2 players out, so give yourself more space to attack in the box.
Woodham this time with the corner for Wales. Floated towards Evans on that back post. Last touch from Caroline Weir will go out for a Welsh throw. Fishlock to take. She's going to leave it to Rachel Rowe. Got to take advantage of these set pieces that they've had, Wales.
Yeah, and what I would say is I just love for the Welsh fullbacks to have a little bit more of an attacking licence to go forward and support. I think at times that they're quite defensive.
Kane gets a cross in. Past Ingle, but towards Rhiannon Roberts. Lofted in. Oh! Fishlock at full stretch there. And into the hands of Lee Gibson, and safety for Scotland.
It was a good little dink in by Rhiannon Roberts. Just putting it back into that area between the goalkeeper and the defender, that area of uncertainty.
Kerr. Towards Hansen. Got options here. Well, tried to find Weir, but Weir almost dispossessing Evans. Back to Clark. Oh, it's a mistake which could result in a corner here. It could have been worse. A heart-in-mouth moment for Olivia Clark.
I don't think she was expecting the pass to begin with, but Gemma Evans nice and calm, and to be fair, does take a bobble. You can see it clearly that
it's a keeper's nightmare when that happens.
But what you would say is Gemma Evans passing it back. You should be passing that really, where possible, outside of the width of the goal.
Cuthbert's corner towards Howard, who scored in the first half and threatened again with aerial prowess.
Yeah, they've looked threatening from set pieces, Scotland.
It was adjudged to have come off Rachel Rowe, so it is another corner for Weir to take. Weir's left-footed in-swinger is dangerous. Wales deal with it. Wynne gets around Cuthbert, needs support. Well, Wales hesitant at times when passing out from the back, and that has caused a few issues in this game.
That's a great little dink. You see with the backspin on the ball. Fishlock is inches away from getting on the end of it, but good understanding between those two.
Howard drives it forward towards Martha Thomas, who's got Hansen behind her. He doesn't need it. Wins the corner all by herself. Woodham with the charge down.
It's not often you see Gemma Evans beaten in a 1v1 situation there. To be fair, Thomas had a bit of a lucky ricochet, but these deliveries in from Cuthbert from the other side, and we have been spot on. They're not just floated and hung in, you know, they're in with precision.
Weir with another excellent delivery towards that back post. Wales struggling to clear it away. It's a real mess, and Thomas from 6 yards puts it over, although it came off a Welsh player because it is a corner. A real mess inside that penalty area.
Yeah, the ball's bouncing around like there's no tomorrow in it, but again, just from the good delivery from Weir, then yeah, Lily Woodham just manages to react first.
A third corner in a row here, this time to be taken by Erin Cuthbert towards Corsie. Wales can get it away through Rachel Rowe, who does very well. And has gained some yards here. She's done very well, Rowe, and eventually is brought down by Weir. Well, in rugby terms, that's gaining territory.
Oh, we could have done with that when we played them last week. But yeah, Rachel Rowe, she just can't, she looked up and there was nobody, absolutely nobody in front of her, so decided to keep hold of the ball and just, you know, try and drive at the Scottish players. What I would say is the Scottish attitudes to get back, the recovery run's really, really good. Wales just need to get a few players further forward at times to support a little bit quicker if they can.
Still no news on the condition of Fiona Brown, and I'm sure if you stay glued to our website, bbc.co.uk/Sport Wales, then any news will appear on there. Just a reminder for those tuning in, the Scottish defender was stretchered off during half-time after a collision with Jess Fishlock, and did have a neck brace on, so thoughts very much with her at the moment, and hope that it's not too serious and that it is just a precaution. It has been a physical game, not a dirty game, but lots of strong challenges have gone in, as you would expect in a Wales and Scotland affair, Gwenan.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they're always really tightly contested, physical battles, close, tight games.
We see Chloe Arthur set to come on, it seems, Crystal Palace player. And Esther Morgan and Carrie Jones warming up for Wales. Whether we'll get to see either of those players remains to be seen. Cuthbert's done well to get past. James drives it past the Welsh defence, and I think Olivia Clark saw it all the way and let it go out for the goal kick. But still half a chance for Cuthbert.
Yeah, again, a depth that on her right or her left, and as you said, Olivia Clark's quite happy, quite comfortable, but can't afford to give players like Cuthbert that space.
Weir on the turn, brought down, no foul, says the referee. Both Ingle and Fishlock were closing in. And it's the Welsh number 10 who brings the ball away. Roberts' pass, not quite finding Megan Wynne. Well, less than 15 minutes to go. There's a game here to be won by either side. Scotland have been bold in their changes. Gemma Granger may feel the need to bring on someone like a Carrie Jones, who can certainly turn a game on its head.
Yeah, she was warming up down the side about 5 minutes ago, so someone who's direct, loves to take on players.
And here comes that change. Chloe Arthur coming on. And it's Sam Kerr coming off. Put in a good shift, Sam Kerr. I think, as you said, Gwenan does a lot of the unseen donkey work.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I think she's a tidy player. Obviously one of Scotland's important players. She started all 3 games. She's the only player to start all 3 games. And she just gives that licence then to Cuthbert and Weir in the midfield alongside her to get forward.
Pedro Martinez still has the experience of the likes of Rachel Corsie on the pitch. This her 140th cap. Some way off the record. Gemma Fay, 203. I think that's going to be beaten anytime soon.
She was a goalkeeper, to be fair, but still.
Fishlock leaves it for Ingle. Heavy pass for Wynne, who saw it late.
One thing I think is really important to talk about is the amount of coverage, even with his tournament now, that has developed over time, and how important that is to be visible, because the stats around the game and the participation in Wales, it's increased enormously, and one of the biggest reasons, obviously, the success of the team and how much more competitive they've become over time, but because of the visibility. So since 2018, there's actually been an 89% increase in participation for girls in Wales, which is a huge stat.
Well, it's a free kick right on the edge of the area here. A yellow card for Doherty. Now, we have the benefit of seeing replays, and I just wonder how close that was for Megan Wynne to being a penalty kick.
Oh, that looked tight, didn't it, Simon? They just couldn't deal with the bouncing ball.
Beg your pardon, it was Rachel Corsie who was booked, not Doherty. The Doherty had gone in with a challenge as well, but here's the replay, Gwenan.
Ooh, it's tight, but I think the contact is just outside, to be fair, from that.
And in its position,
replay, but yeah.
This free kick is not really ideal. I mean, it's hard to get up and over a wall here.
I think it's more really about changing the angle on it. There's no one around to do that. I think you see a lot of players just have someone close by, roll the ball just to change the angle to go around the wall. As you said, it's a tight, it's too short a distance, but
if anyone is capable,
yeah, I wouldn't put it past.
Jess Fishlock with the free kick for Wales to give Wales the lead. Fishlock spilt by the keeper. Rowe almost with the follow-up. It is a corner.
No, she's offside, Simon. But that's what I'm saying about trying to change the angle. I think everybody's expecting that ball to go, into the wide corner. You see on the body shape, the last step and the way she opens up her standing foot to try and get her body around.
The flag went up against Rowe.
Yeah, good forward play though, pleased to see that. Hannah King, Rachel Rowe following in.
Kane. Ball over the top from James. The back of Fishlock's head, but it could work out for Wales here and for Megan Wynne. Play from Smith here to Cuthbert. Woodham with the interception and wins the free kick. Hansen received the brunt of that tackle from Woodham anyway.
It's hard on that when the pass just isn't quite accurate enough, so as a wide forward you're going to get clattered if you put your body on the line. But Lily Woodham thrives in those types of situations, just reading the play, getting on the front foot.
Josie Green. Is that okay? Surprise starter for this game. Place of Hayley Ladd. Goes back to Lee Gibson.
Well, they've been in good voice, haven't they?
Giving it some gusto. Some hoil, I believe the term is.
Some what?
Some hoil?
I say. Yeah.
Well, Wales giving it a bit of oomph here. Although Woodham running into trouble. There's a game to be won. Is there a winner? I mean, Scotland will feel exactly the same, Gwenan, but Wales in the last few minutes have threatened, and they're doing so here with Fishlock. Does well to find Kane. Referee plays advantage. Kane in towards Wynne. James may go out for a corner here. I think it will.
Yeah, good feet in intricate places there, Fishlock. Hannah Kane, after watching the first 20 minutes, I've got to be honest, I was really, really concerned, really worried, but you know, Wales have reacted well since then. Obviously got the goal, and then just with the change back to the formation, it just looked a lot more solid.
Giving it some oomph.
Yeah.
James to Fishlock. Fishlock with the low ball in towards Wynne. No penalty. Referee was well placed and had a very good look at that, although was instant in her reaction.
I'd like to see that again.
It looked like a trip. Roberts. Good step over, manages to get the ball in towards Rowe. Fishlock! Well, maybe we'll get to see that incident again, not the Fishlock shot, although that was close. The big talking point may well be the penalty kick. This was the Fishlock effort, but I think it's the other incident that we want to see. Here it is.
Well,
Cuthbert on Wynne.
Oh, it's definitely come off a red leg last, and she used her body really, really well to turn there, so I think Meg Wynn's really, really unlucky. Definitely seen those given before, without a shadow of a doubt. And then that opportunity coming in, to be honest, the person that you want most in the end of that is Fishlock, and she's the one you expect least to be on the Wilds.
I think much like Olivia Clark down the other end, it is susceptible to bobble up the ball on this pitch.
Yeah, that's true.
But still, I know what you mean.
Yeah, she's just leaning back as well. You could see, couldn't you? So it was always going to go up, leading over the ball.
So it's still all square, still all to play for. Free kick Scotland. I think Wales are finishing this game the better of the two teams at the moment. This was the incident again, a better view of it.
Well, you've definitely seen them given it. It was more like a tangle of legs more than anything, but I think that's definitely more of a case than the Scottish handball on Lily Woodham anyway.
And the referee couldn't have been better placed, really. She had a clear view of it, no obstructions to her view. Scotland on the attack with Weir. Here's Hansen. Roberts watching her closely. Green giving the ball away, although Fishlock wins it back, and Jess Fishlock using a bit of her experience there to win the free kick.
Yeah, how many times today have you seen the ball come into Fishlock like that? She's under pressure from a player, but she just shields the ball with her body. She hasn't touched the ball, but she just rolls her body.
Hannah Kane making way, and in place of her is Helen Ward. Her 105th cap, Helen Ward. And the stat we all know is that she scored 44 goals for her country.
Well, yeah, if you need somebody to take an opportunity now, she's the one you definitely want. Got to be honest, I was surprised to see her carry on after the Switzerland game. Just spent a fair amount of time on the bench. You know, she's got 2 young children, and the way that she reacted, obviously everybody was upset, but she just seemed to be soaking it all in. So surprised to see her back. I'm not sure, you know, for how much longer she will go, but you know, what she will do is give everything that she can. She'll definitely be a threat. Balls in the box as well.
Yeah, very much at the latter end of her career, at 36 years of age, but a wonderful servant for Wales, and certainly capable of finding the back of the net when Wales need it. Here is Fishlock. Skips around one tackle, brought down and is penalised for a handball. Fishlock was looking for the free kick, but it's gone the other way, and she's only now just found out that it's gone the other way. Cuthbert's challenge.
Well, it was definitely a free kick on her, but yeah, she did catch it as if she was playing rugby and going over the try line, but and I thought it was a free kick on her in the first place.
It's been a decent game of rugby, this.
Really pleasing to see the way Wales are ending mine, just higher up the pitch, a bit more aggression. We were so far off it in that first half. Not tight enough, not close enough, not physical enough. Far better in the second half.
2 minutes to go until that added time board goes up. And if it finishes like this, then you would think that both teams have lost the opportunity to lift the Pinatar Cup. Of course, you would expect Iceland to beat the Philippines, but nothing is guaranteed. But it's 1-1. From a Welsh point of view, if they can finish the tournament undefeated, then that will please them. A win and 2 draws wouldn't be a bad return. Still some time to go, though. Scotland are going to create a bit of danger here. Smith colliding with Fishlock. Rachel Rowe is fouled.
Yeah, that's the thing, Simon. Look, a lot of people have been talking, and look, I'm going to say I'm one of those and questioning why more players haven't played in this tournament, especially when you look at the likes of Scotland and they've used 24 of the 25 players and used it. And as I said, you know, I'm one of those that's questioning it, but on the other hand as well, and when you talk about, you know, points go towards rankings, and rankings then will help towards what pot you're in for groups and the Nations League and etc. You can understand on that point of view maybe why there's been a little bit more caution at times.
Thomas, supported by Hansen. Is there another chance for Scotland? A late chance here. Weir goes down. No foul. There were a few shouts. Wales eventually get the decision their way, but it may be a case of having another look at that for us. But what do you think, Gwennon?
Yeah, well, I think she's unlucky there, to be honest, Callum. I think she's pinned her in, Josie Green, and she's got that first touch. I'd like to just see that once more, but that's obviously that we're so lucky to have, you know, the angles there for us when you're referee. You've got to make that decision there and then. She was well placed again, credit to her, but I think
this is where VAR does come into play. You know, they would look at that.
I think from looking at it first time, it looked like a penalty to me. I held my breath thinking that it was going to be given.
We're into the 2 minutes of added time. Ingle. Straight to the goalkeeper, Gibson. Yeah, that date again, April the 6th. That'll be the next Welsh game against Northern Ireland at the Cardiff City Stadium. A friendly game, but certainly one with a competitive edge. A lot of history between the two teams. I think Wales probably owe Northern Ireland one for getting that European place a few campaigns back. And
yeah, I think they'll feel like they've got a score to settle, but it's a good one in terms of, again, another nation that's similar around us in terms of size and turnover. But obviously they've reached that major tournament, so they've got that experience from the Euros in summer, so good to see where we're at in comparison.
Ball from Hay in towards Weir. Here's Smith. Oh, good cross, spilt by Clark. In fairness, I think Clark got distance on a punch there. Fishlock away to Rowe. And it's Scotland who are finishing on a high here. Good charge down from Ward. Some important calls for the Czech referee.
You always just wonder, don't you, when she's not given one a couple of minutes before, whether that's playing on your mind in terms of just equaling things out. I personally thought both were pens.
Full time, one apiece. And Wales finished the Pinatar Cup undefeated. 2 draws and a victory. And you would suspect that Iceland will go on to win this competition, but stranger things have happened. I think Gemma Granger will see this as a worthwhile exercise. And thanks to Kerry Holland's equaliser, it has finished in Pittata. Scotland 1, Wales 1.